On this episode of Mythbusters, we will find out the truth about bilingualism. Who are the Mythbusters? Anna Powell, Sarah Stibe, and Lydia Glover. With scholarly research and knowledge, they don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. First, what is bilingualism? Bilingualism is the concept of someone able to use two languages in everyday life. This is a common phenomenon that we are seeing more and more. There are simultaneous bilingual individuals who acquire two languages from birth, and sequential bilinguals, individuals who acquire a second language followed by a first language. Today, we will look at 4 myths about bilingualism and put them to the test. The first myth comes from concerned school teachers and educators. The myth is that bilingual children will struggle in school and socially. Here's what the research says. Language development in simultaneous bilingual says that a suspected delay in one language may just indicate less exposure to that language, the non-dominant language. Language impairment in dual language children also emphasizes that some standardized tests have cultural bias and can negatively affect the children's scores. The more language-specific the test, the more likely that dual language learners could appear academically weak. Byers, Heinlein, and Lou Williams go even further as to say that bilingual children have certain advantages. Preschool bilingual children seem to have better skills than other children with understanding the thoughts and feelings of others. They also have a higher sensitivity to certain aspects of speech, like tone. In general, bilinguals tend to perform better on tasks that require switching between activities and memorization. That's one myth.
Our second myth involves the idea that bilingual children will inevitably have a speech and language delay. The research disagrees. Nationwide Children says that children are capable of learning 2 languages at the same pace as other children who are learning only 1 language. All children are capable of learning any languages at birth and have the ability to learn more than 1 language at a time. This can be simultaneously, which is consistent exposure to both languages before the age of 3, or sequentially, which is the introduction and learning of an additional language after the age of 3. Language delays, as a disorder within speech-language pathology, are independent of bilingualism. This resource goes on to say that it is actually a hindrance to children if parents avoid their native language in order to model only 1 language for their child, because this leads to a decrease in the quantity and quality of language exposure that child receives. And that's another myth. Myth number 3 is a doozy. Some people believe children must wait to master 1 language before learning another one. Let's look at the facts. We have described the difference between a simultaneous and sequential language learning. This myth implies that sequential language learning is the only way for a child to successfully become bilingual. According to Patterson, simultaneous bilingualism is not rare because it involves each parent speaking their native language to their child. This, again, is great for development because each parent is providing the most natural and clear example of their individual language. The brain is able to acquire each language at the same time. The different methods do not indicate anything about how balanced a bilingual may be or how developed bilinguals' languages might be. They do not say anything about fluency, achievement, or lack thereof. Neither simultaneous or sequential is the better way to become bilingual. Both are common and effective ways for children to develop language. That's another myth busted.
Many parents worry that bilingualism will hinder their child by causing extra delays in the child's language impairment. Our final myth will answer the question, will exposing children with a speech and language delay to another language cause a further delay? In order to find some answers, we did some digging, and here's what we found. The Hannon Center compared 2 studies of children with different language delays, including children with a specific language impairment and autism spectrum disorder. Both studies concluded that introducing a second language didn't have a negative effect on the child's language development and will not cause any further delay. The conducted research shows that children with a speech and language delay can learn a second language. However, they're more likely to thrive when both languages are supported in their school and community. The Hannon Center states sequential bilingual children with language impairments face language learning challenges, but not greater than monolingual children with the same language impairments. I think it's safe to say that this is another myth. To conclude this episode of Mythbusters, let's recap. We busted 4 myths, including bilingual children won't struggle in school or socially, bilingual children won't have a speech and language delay, children don't have to wait to know one language before learning another, and exposing children with speech and language delay to another language won't cause any other further delay. For additional information, visit our resources page, and until next time, don't believe everything you hear.